Like, what is this video?
They're running, they're like trampling each other on the escalator.
There were a few hiccups.
Take everything good and run away.
Minecraft.
Genuinely have no recollection of doing this, but since I'm on camera, I assume that I did. Like, I can't deny that I did it.
What were you filming? What's this for? Do you remember?
I think this might have been from when we did the Mojang cribs. Like, it was a tour of the studio.
Like, we were all so excited. We just moved into this big office that felt, felt more like an office because our first space was this converted apartment. We've grown at this point, so it's like you still know everyone. We still all knew each other, but you're becoming a bit bigger.
Yeah, I think it was still a little bit the same, like this very family feeling. Whenever one had a birthday, we would all sing together. Like every birthday was celebrated, and we did like most things together. But of course, as you mentioned, like we're also starting to have many more projects, so not everyone knew what everyone else was doing.
That was our web team right there.
Yes, that's the entire web
Chris
team.
and Tobias.
2 people.
I think someone visited the office. I'm trying to think who it was. Maybe it was even Phil Spencer later on, but he was like, "So where's the web team?" And it was like, there, those guys.
Those 2 people right there.
When I got to this office, I felt like I was there like it was just like I would come in, but there was never an end. There was never an end leaving time. You just stayed. I think at that time, barely anyone had kids.
No.
So it was really just, we would have dinner, we would keep working, we would mess around with projects, we would hang out, we would, party. It was just like its own world.
Yeah, and I would frequently be there on the weekends as well.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna say.
Always someone else.
I remember going there one weekend and watching the Godfather trilogy in the cinema on my own.
All by yourself.
And it was one of the greatest days I've ever had. I was just sitting back, watching it for like 12 hours. It was wonderful.
Music was playing all the time.
All the time.
I thought that was annoying because I was having calls and I had to run into a meeting room.
Those were nice though. Those exhibition things around them.
Yeah, and the trophy shows.
things. Yeah.
I remember specifically the widescreen award that we had widescreen support. So we got an award for having wide.
That's good.
But we also had so many players, like a big community cheering us on. So we kept like tweeting to them or writing on Reddit, like it was ongoing conversation with the players, and that was also like what kept us.
You wanted to do, you're like, if I just finish this thing, then someone will be like really excited about it.
Exactly,
that's true.
Exactly.
So I think it was a tradition that every developer has to break a build or make something broken at least once to get like initiated properly.
Yeah.
And within the first month or so, I accidentally uploaded a file to the wrong folder and people in the world couldn't play for like 20 minutes before we fixed it again.
Yeah, and I'm not a developer, so I shouldn't ever be breaking anything.
Yeah.
But I was uploading a news post and put like a period in the wrong place and in some JSON, or I didn't close a bracket or something like that. I just broke the launcher.
Redstone.
Yeah.
Redstone changed the game for a lot of people. Not for everyone, which is one of the great things about Minecraft updates. After most updates, you can continue to play as though nothing ever changed. But for a lot of people, Redstone just opened everything because this is when engineering became a thing in Minecraft.
Yeah, I remember the early builds and seeing what people were doing with Redstone was kind of amazing.
I do a little bit of Redstone, but not nearly as advanced as the community can do it. So
the community has built a working computer in Minecraft using Redstone.
The working computer was the most impressive one for me.
Yeah.
Because that was just as far as the eye could see. It was like you were inside of a computer and seeing all the component parts there. And that was really impressive.
the update that changed the world, or Minecraft 1.7.
It literally changed the world. I think if people wanted to get terrain changes, or it was like, okay, well, we have to do this kind of all at once, because if you update the world every update, then people's terrain gets a little bit weird.
Yeah, that's also why the last time we did updates with Caves and Cliffs, we put a lot of tech into place to make it easier in the future if we add new biomes or new world generation to blend in with the existing things.
Coming across, my favorites are the big mushrooms, because I just think they're so fun to find. Yeah, I love this update.
I try to avoid snowy biomes because it's just so annoying.
to have to take off the no, I don't mess with that either. Yeah. Taking off the snow is too long.
yeah.
Ocean Monument.
Yeah, this was cool because this gave a whole, I mean, it gave the world literal depth, but it gave a reason for you to explore underwater.
The Bountiful update, we named it that way because it had so many different things.
Our naming is always funny that way.
I knew I wanted it to look kind of like a underwater pyramid with chambers inside, and I spent a lot of time figuring out how to generate that three-dimensional maze through that pyramid.
We also introduced the tvättsvamp.
Sponges, yeah.
Which made these really fun as puzzles to kind of restaurate.
Yeah, this was just such a different feel. It was like this kind of alien vibe to it.
I added the Elder Guardians, which is a bigger and stronger version of the Guardians. That also would give you this effect that made you break blocks very, very slowly to encourage you to actually go through the maze instead of just digging through it.
You're like, hey, I know you're going to play however you want, but let's try. I'm going to try.
Now it's the designer.
Game design.
The designer is designing now. You have to play according to the design. The acquisition time was it was confusing and like uncertain. Like we didn't really know what to expect. Like would they close down the studio? What kind of expectations would they bring in? Like, did we need to change the way we were working and so forth?
We got really suspicious because Carl asked Karin for some financial reports.
Okay.
And we were like, wait, you're asking for financial reports? There can only be one reason. You're selling the company. And then his face told me everything.
Well, I think that's what happens when your decisions are scrutinized by millions of people whom they feel like they have a personal connection with you. Honestly, that's a lot of pressure to deal with.
I became actually really, really sad because I thought it felt weird that they would just sell off the whole company.
Like, I remember having meetings with developers and everyone in the golden room, basically like, how do we do this? How do we mitigate this? How do we move on and make this work?
But in truth, I mean, for the first maybe year and a half, I think we barely had any interaction, really.
Yeah, it was very hands-off.
It was very hands-off, and I think Microsoft kind of wanted to learn what Minecraft was about.
So for me, even though it felt scary and it was very difficult to merge like so many different, we had Swedish culture and American culture, we had independent and corporate. I mean, it was almost like, let's take everything opposite and put it together. And so I think there's just challenges that come through that. But to me, what really felt the best about the acquisition is that I knew that Microsoft's goal was to continue making Minecraft bigger, but also we could focus on things like Minecraft education and like making the world a better place. And that was something that I think was meaningful to a lot of us.
We had so many like good ideas that we couldn't, like we were simply too small to take them on. So it gave the opportunity to really expand and use Minecraft to do more and good things. It also meant like we were finally growing up, I think. And I think we would have been forced to do that regardless, because it was not really like sustainable for the company or even for the game. So
Yeah.
so it was a step for us to take Minecraft a little bit more seriously, I'd say.
It was lots of big things happening at the same time in my life.
Oh, llamas.
After Never update, I think this is my favorite update.
So surreal.
How hard could it be? And Jens was like shaking his head like, this is way too much.